Okay, I'm going to see how quickly I can get through this recitation worksheet. So we have these limits. Actually, we're going to skip ahead to this stuff because this all was painful. So we'll go on to this, numbers 2 and 3. I had a special request. Someone wanted me to finish this because apparently the entire recitation was doing all of this stuff up here, which was painful. So let's take a look at this. Make sure that this makes sense. And so P of x is equal to this, so P prime, here we go, we're using the chain rule, is going to be f prime evaluated at g times g prime of x. And so P prime of 2 is f prime evaluated at g of 2 times g prime of 2. And so let's see, do we have g of 2? G of 2 is 1, so this will be f prime at 1 times g prime of 2. G prime of 2 is negative 4. And now I just need to look up f prime of 1. F prime of 1 is negative 2, so that will equal negative 2 times negative 4, and we're all done with 8. All right, moving on, the next one was q prime of 3. So q of x is g of x. So that means q prime of x is using the chain rule, g prime evaluated at g of x times g prime of x, which is a little weird. Let's go down here and maybe change colors. So g prime evaluated at g of 3 times g prime of 3. Let's go look up g of 3. G of 3 is 2, and g prime of 3 is negative 3. So I want to do g prime of g of 3 is 2, and g prime of 3 is negative 3. Now I just have to go look up g prime of 2, which is negative 4. And that takes us to just 12. Next one is r prime of 1. Let's see, r, whoops, change color once again. Let's see. So we have r prime, here's r, so r prime using the product rule now is going to be x times, product and the chain rule. Okay, so that's the first part. It probably would, well, you're just going to do this, and then this is the chain rule with f of x squared will be f prime at x squared times the derivative of x squared. And we're going to add to this 1 times f of x squared. So that's the product rule. So you leave the first thing alone, do the derivative of the second thing, then you do derivative of the first thing, leave the second thing alone. Okay, so r prime of 1, I'm going to copy this, it's going to take me a minute, is going to equal 1 times f prime of 1 times 2 times 1. So that's the underlined stuff, because 1 squared is 1. And then plus 1 times f prime of 1, which is 1 squared. No f prime. There. It's a good thing I wrote it down. Now I just have to look up the values of f prime of 1 and f of 1 in the tables. So here's f of 1 and f prime of 1. So 2 here. And negative 2 here. So let's see if I can clean things up. I think the final answer is negative 2. Okay, onward. So we're going to be doing a derivative of a product. So this is the product rule. Let's see. Let's move this over. How about there? Okay, so this will be f times g, sorry, I need more room. F of 1 times g prime of 1 plus f prime of 1 times g of 1. So I need to read these values off of the graph. And we're talking about 1 here. So it looks to me like f of 1 is equal to 2. And f prime of 1 is also, is 3. That's the slope. And notice that this is a straight line and the slope is 3. G, on the other hand, G of 1 is equal to 5.5. G prime of 1 looks like it's negative 3/2. Rise over run. So I'm just figuring out the slope of this line here. Put that all together over here, and I think we'll have our answer. It's just want to be able to see everything, and then I'll zoom in again. Okay, so we have f of 1 times g prime of 1 plus f prime of 1 times g of 1. And that's going to equal negative 3. What is that? 16.5? Okay, we're going to do the same thing here, but with the quotient rule. So we'll have low d high, so f prime g minus high d low, fg prime over g squared. This is all evaluated at 1. So I'm using the same numbers. Let's see if I can keep them all sorted. So it'll be 3 times 5.5 minus 2 times negative 3/2 all over, let's see, g of 1 squared. G of 1 is 5.5. Box it up. Be done. Okay, f of g prime. So f of g of x, we're doing the derivative, and so that will be f prime evaluated at g times g prime of x. So this will be f prime of 1. Oh, no. F prime of g of 1 times g prime of 1. And so that's going to be f prime, let's see, g of 1 we did already was 5.5. And g prime of 1 we did already, that was negative 3/2. So we just have to go find the slope of f at 5.5. It looks like the slope of f at 5.5, we're right about here, I guess. And that slope is going to be negative 3. Is that right? So from here to here, you get negative 3 for the slope. So that'll be equal to negative 3 times negative 3/2, which is a 9/2. Here again, it's a product rule. Oh, and another quotient rule. Lovely. Here, let's do these at the same time. Only because I'm going to have to fill in all of these numbers based on the graph. So we have f of 6. Let's see, let's just go over here and figure it all out. Okay, so f of 6 is equal to negative 1. F prime of 6 is equal to negative 3. That's the slope there. It's a straight line. G of 6 is 1. G prime of 6 is 0, because this is a horizontal line. You know what? I'm just going to move these over to where we can use them. Just a sec. There. And maybe I'll put a little box around them. Okay, so let's just use those in these formulas. So we have -1 times 0 plus 1 times -3, so that's going to equal -3. So that's the answer to letter D. Letter E, a little bit more complicated. F prime, so -3 times 1 minus -1 times 0 all over 1 squared. So I believe that's -3 as well. Huh. Interesting. One more. And that's f of g prime. And so this is this whole business of, it'll be f of g prime, f prime of g of 6 times g prime of 6. So here we'll just use those numbers up there. So we want f prime of 1 times g prime of 6. F prime of 1 we did before, and that was 3. And g prime of 6 we did before, that's 0. So the final answer there is 0. All right, hope this helps. This we don't have time for. I have to go to class. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button.